All right, predict to commit, Jordan. I don't know how many more of these we have because we're running out of options. We're running out of time even where the guys are going to be uncommitted. So I might have to get creative in terms of how we implement this once we go back to our 2 a week or one, not 2 a week. Sorry.
I was going to say, if we're going 2 a week, my goodness.
Nobody needs to say Wolk UGA recruiting show 2 a week. God bless them. That they would get tired of my voice way too quickly. If once we get back to going to every other week, I might have to change how we implement the predict to commit. We might not do it every episode. I might have to spring some things on you and get creative. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But for this episode, I'm going to go, obviously, as usual, I'm going to go through who's on our teams, how we're faring. We're going to predict one apiece. It is not exclusive to this upcoming official visit weekend. It is any player that you want to pick. They have officially visited Georgia. They haven't officially visited to Georgia. You get to decide. It can be any player that you would so choose. And I will let you go first as well. But let me go through the teams. You've got 3 correct right now: Jared Curtis, Carter Lucky, and Jordan Smith. Your incorrect options up to this point are Mark Bowman, Jared Smith, and Tico Crittenton. You do have some good news coming on your team. I'll say that. There's at least one, I think 2 of your team that I would consider locks as we're sitting here right now. But just going through your team: running back Derek Cooper, linebacker Tyler Atkinson, outside linebacker Kamari Brooks, defensive lineman PJ Dean, wide receiver Craig Dandridge, defensive lineman James Johnson, tight end Caden Prothrow, offensive lineman Desmond Green, Ole Miss linebacker commit Isaiah Williams from Flip a Commit, defensive lineman Vodney Cleveland. Could you hear that?
Yes,
defensive lineman Vodney Cleveland, and wide receiver Terrius Favors. Am I missing anyone from your team? Do you know? I think that was everyone.
That sounds right. And I'm just going to act like where it thundered there was the giveaway of whoever, you were just hinting at. So people rewind at 20, 15, 30 seconds. I don't even know who you said them, but I'm just going to pretend that's the giveaway. Those are the guys that are going to be right in my predicted commit.
That's right. I'm using Mother Nature for some hints here. I've been on a little bit of a roll. I don't want to, I don't like to pat myself on the back, Jordan, but I've been on on a little bit of a roll recently. All right.
Yeah.
6 commits so far in the class for me. That is offensive lineman Graham Houston, defensive back Zach Fort, wide receiver Ryan Mosley, defensive back Justice Fitzpatrick, offensive lineman Zyke Helton, and offensive lineman Ekene Boko most recently. We're even at 3 misses up to this point, though, as I've said in the past, there's at least 2 more on my team that I know I don't got a shot with. And so I've got offensive lineman Jackson Cantwell was a miss, defensive back Peyton Dyer was a miss, and defensive lineman Whitley Cadeau, sort of in that Tico Crittenton conversation, though, where I could see Georgia circling back on Whitley Cadeau at some point in time. The rest of my team: running back Jay Lamar, offensive lineman Malcolm Gaston, defensive back Tyreek Green, offensive lineman Brett Collegier, defensive lineman Ernest Rankins, Alabama offensive line commit Chris Booker, cornerback Chase Calicut, and defensive lineman Valden Sone. We're going to find out a lot of answers on both of our teams here by the end of June, early July. For you, Jordan, I will let you go first. Any predicted commits you want from any weekend, or maybe Georgia's not even recruiting them yet. I'll just give you free reign to pick whoever you want.
I'm going to swing for the fences.
I was going to swing for the fences.
There were 2 guys that I was looking at here, but I'm just going to go ahead and be bold, and I'm going to pick Malachi Lee. I'm going to pick the offensive tackle from Honolulu. I went back and forth, Ben, between him and Fletcher Turk. Fletcher Turk from Hebron. He's the one that I would think if they don't get Malachi Lee, that's who they would go get. But just the fact that we talked about earlier in this episode, Georgia's just hanging around in this recruitment. And I'm really watching Michigan and Alabama when it comes to this group. But I don't know. I'm going to swing for the fences and see what I can do with Malachi Lee. 6'6", 318 for the folks who are not watching as I got this pulled up on our 24/7. I mean, I just think after missing Jackson Cantwell and the fact that Georgia's been hanging around and trying to make this recruitment interesting, let's have some fun. I'm going to put Malachi Lee on my team.
I was going to do it, Jordan. I honestly didn't think you were going to do it just because you had been bold on Jackson Cantwell. I thought you might be a little bit conservative.
Hey! You were the one who picked Jackson Cantwell.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got Jared
I was.
Curtis.
I got Jackson Cantwell. So yeah, well, you had nothing to worry about. I should have known that you were going to take Malachi Lee. Look at me. I'm trying to put my incorrect picks on your team. Classic Ben. I like that pick. The buzz with Malachi Lee in Georgia is better than it's ever been. I will admit I am still very cautious around it because, for obvious reasons, how many Hawaii offensive linemen do you remember Georgia signing over the years? Not many. So not saying it's impossible. I just never considered it that likely, but it is likelier today than it's ever been. So I love that pick. And I do regret letting you go first today because I was going to do it. I wanted to swing for the fences as well at offensive tackle. But I guess, look, I just got Ekeneg, Boko. I've already got Graham Houston and Zyke Helton. I need to give you some offensive linemen as well. So I can be at peace with that.
I appreciate that, Ben. You're just, you're a great co-host. You look out for your co-host, and that means so much to me.
So I'm going to actually go the opposite direction now, and I'm going to go with someone that I view as a Georgia eval, and I think that the Georgia eval is still ongoing. We mentioned him already earlier in the show, and that is Valdosta defensive lineman Corey Howard. As we're recording this, I think that he still has to perform this week in that private workout with Georgia to be able to secure his spot. But in the event that happens, I like Georgia's chances to wind up with Corey Howard in this class. Anytime that Georgia evals a guy during the spring period and then he takes an official visit, works out in the summer, you really got to start taking a deeper look at him. I think that this last weekend's official visit went a long, long way in terms of securing him. And now I just think it's a matter of crossing T's, dotting I's to be able to get him by the end of this week. So it would not shock me in the slightest. Are we going to do one of these next week? I guess we should, because we're going to be previewing a lot of decisions. So we'll do one more next week, and we can figure that out around my travel schedule at the end of the week. But it wouldn't be surprising to me if when we're talking about news at the beginning of the week, if we're talking about Corey Howard. So now that's not 100% guarantee. Still got to get on the field and prove it. You know how important those in-person, hands-on evaluations are for Georgia with private workouts. We saw last summer, J.J. Hanna does that private workout. Georgia loves him, and he immediately goes into take category. And now he has really had a above expectations, exceeding expectations spring in Athens. I definitely think that Corey Howard is someone that could fall into that category. But you might not have to wait too long for that one to be good news if things go well later this week.
Really like that pick. You were sort of freaking out after I swiped Malachi Lee, but I'd say you should feel pretty good about Corey Howard and the potential of him being a Bulldog when it's all said and done.
Well, it's like there's hitting on certain commits. Like, yeah, sure, I have 6 commits and you have 3, but you have Jared Curtis. Like, there is a magnitude of the commits that I'm just saying, I got 6, you got 3. It's like, well, I'm not going to have a quarterback on my predicted commit team, and you are. So I think magnitude of the recruitment matters. And so I was going to go for the swing for the fences with Malachi Lee just because it's one that Georgia fans are obsessed with right now.
Are you telling me that we're going to have to do class rankings with what we do in the guys we land? I kind of think that's the only way to do this.
You know what, Jordan? It's maybe not a bad idea, because I guess all we would need to do in our system is just delete everyone from the class and then add them. You know what? That's a great idea. We'll wait until we get through the commitment season, and then maybe it'll be like a AP poll champion and coaches poll champion. It'll be a volume predicted commits champion and then the composite score champion as well. I love that idea. That's why we got you, Jordan. You're an ideas guy.
Yeah, there was the BCS. This feels more in line with the BS, but that's sort of up for whoever.
Well, yeah, I think that much has been made clear with some of the wrinkles that I've tried to throw in along the way. Though I think as we will see in retrospect, every time I tried to throw a wrinkle in things, it hurt me more than it hurt you. And I thought that I was pulling a fast one over on you. So neither here nor there.